his two attorneys left today. It's not entirely clear whether that was of their own accord or whether that was something that Donald Trump did. I think he released a statement. Actually, I know he released a statement over on Truth Social, his platform, where he talked about how they really needed to fight because these were kind of quote unquote bad people. And these were sort of, really aggressive. I can't remember the exact wording, but something about dirty, like they're going to play dirty. And so he wanted more street fighters, I guess, on his team. But this team was actually all over the airwaves as recently as last night, defending him pretty strongly. And then, of course, the indictment is unsealed. And now they're off the team. They say that they resigned. They turned in the resignation letters. There will be more, I suspect, to come on that, although they did very much wish him well and insist that he is going to be vindicated in all of this. It's just like, why are we putting the country through this? And think about what we're going to have to continue putting the country through, right? I mean, that's the troubling thing. Because the American people are tired. They're saying, but you told us he was a Russian spy, effectively, or an agent of the Russians. And then it turns out, oh, no, that was just all made up stuff. And then you told us this, you told us that. I mean, it goes on and on. Meanwhile, while many in the media were reporting during the last election cycle of 2020 that Hunter Biden's laptop was, in fact, being investigated by the FBI, you had the same crowd come out and say, oh, no, that's just misinformation. So it's like, guys, come on, enough already. You can't keep doing this, or you really, I think you have lost the trust of the American public because people just roll their eyes. And what I would say is a lot of conservatives are going to double down in defense of him. Now, there are some that believe cynically that that's exactly what the Democrat Party wants because the polling suggests that it's going to be much harder for Donald Trump to beat Joe Biden than it would, say, for Ron DeSantis or kind of almost anybody else out there, right? The independents are the ones that might not go for Trump. And that's what makes some in the Republican Party very, very nervous. It's also what makes Democrats excited. There was that Washington Post reporter, I can't remember her name, but she's so incredibly biased. She's a political reporter over there. And she was tweeting out with total glee just last week, Jennifer something, how happy she was because Ron DeSantis had fallen in the polls. We've talked about that. I was telling you just a couple of days ago, my entire theory on that, I think that it's going to be very, very hard for him. Unless, of course, big government steps in and says enough with Donald Trump, which seems to be what they're trying to do. I mean, you think about the election cycle before and you had Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. And so the cards were stacked in a very different way in that the Democrats, one, obviously had chosen her, wanted her to win. And two, the establishment was like, who is this guy? They were absolutely terrified of him. And consequently, I think there was a large contingency out there that did not want her to be prosecuted for those emails. And so that's part of what may be factored into that decision by James Comey to let that go. Consequently, you've got to look at that, I would think, legally as a standard. Why are you going after Trump when you let Hillary go? Why are you going crazy on Trump when Joe Biden had the stuff in his garage? I mean, maybe not as much, right? This is 120 boxes. I don't know how many boxes Joe Biden had, but felt like every day there for a while, they were finding new things. That was strange. So it made you think, okay, maybe people just take stuff on the way out or they're just sloppy.